Hello everyone, in this video I want to talk about how to use and build Epsilon. Epsilon is in faction Meteor, Legend of Yllis, and Dark Reincarnation. Now we're going to compare the level 70 stats, Vindicator and Ultimate Vessel. Vindicator is an infantry class, so you will be countered by cavalry. And overall stats are a little bit lower than the demon class except the int. Ultimate Vessel, everything is higher, like I just mentioned, but you will get countered by Holy. Usually in PvE, using him as a demon is a no-brainer because most of the opponent are not Holy classes. On the other hand, when it comes to PvP, I usually don't recommend demon, but honestly, especially with the current meta, I feel like a demon is a little bit better than infantry. Infantry just doesn't have a lot of advantage over the other classes. Right now there are a lot of strong cavalry units and then there's a lot of strong mages, so it's gonna be hard to try to make an impact as an infantry anyways. Maybe try your best to ban out the Holy and maybe he can shine as a demon. Talent: Demon Swords Vessel. When entering battle, critical hit rate and critical damage plus 10, 15, 20, 25% is 6 stars. Soldier will attack alongside the hero for range attacks. So that one doesn't matter what star you are, soldiers will attack alongside the hero for range attacks, so that's really good. And this unit has a special effect from a fusion power. Fusion power is faction buff such as Meteor, Landius, Yllis faction buff. Skill range plus 1, 1, 2, 2 at 6 stars, and movement plus 1, 1, 2, 2 at 6 stars as well. Because of the second part of the talent, which is why the latter talent, soldiers will attack alongside the hero for range attack, is necessary. Because this hero has a lot of 1 range skill, but with his talent it can be 2 range or more. Bonding requirement: you would need Gizaroth and Omega for 4th and 5th bond. I feel like the defense bond is not that necessary. He's kind of squishy, glass cannon, therefore unlocking the attack one is much more useful, which is you will require Omega. Okay, we're gonna go into skills, but before I start, from now on I'll save you guys some time and myself as well, because the recycle skills, I'm not going to introduce them anymore because I just feel like there's not enough new players that are worth my effort to do that. And usually those recycled skills are just so much really straightforward. Okay, let's get into it. Shadow Stealth. If there is a passive skill, if there are no allies within 2 blocks and no damage was dealt this turn, then after ending action gain Shadow Stealth, not Sneak. When this unit is at 100% HP, it cannot be targeted by normal attacks or skills, but it can be hit by AoE. AoE such as AoE that does not target the hero. Last 1 turn, this effect has a 1 turn cooldown. So this passive is quite similar to Subamis, except it requires the character to be at 100% HP, which shouldn't be too hard to maintain unless your pick ban is really off in PvP. Shadow Slash. Cost 2, cooldown 2, range 2, span single. Physical damage. Attacks a single enemy, dealing 1.4 times damage. If no blocks were moved before battle, then this attack will ignore guard. And if the enemy is killed, may move 2 blocks. This skill is not affected by melee penalties. So this skill and the previous skill, they both require a 1 turn warm-up of not having Epsilon to deal damage. And the last part there, this skill is not affected by melee penalties, which means this ignore guard skill can be hit at far range and at melee range, which is really good. For example, if you have to fight a character that's strong at far range, you attack them in melee range and it will ignore guard, and then vice versa. Star of Annihilation costs 2 cooldown, 3 range, self span also. This is a faction buff. But aside from the faction buff, there's more than that. There's bonus stuff in there. So before entering battle, increase the target's chance of being critically hit and their critical damage taken by 12%. So we're talking about the opponent before you attack them. When successfully defeating an enemy, gain counterattack damage plus 25%. Last 4 turns cannot be stacked with other fusion powers. The counter attack damage plus 25% is also awesome, especially if any character who's at 2 range wanted to attack Epsilon. Maybe you can get a counter attack kill. Onslaught costs 1, cooldown 2, range 1, span single. Physical damage, ignores guard and deals 1.3 times damage for every block moved before battle. Damage down minus 5% up to 20%. Yeah, so this skill is not very good. You have to like stay in place in order to get full damage. Awakening skill, Malefic Demon Edge, cost 3, cooldown 4, range 1, span single. Passive, every time a unit dies, gain Bloodthirsty, attack plus 5% can be stacked 4 times, which means if you have maximum stack, that's 20% attack, cannot be dispelled. Also reduce the cooldown of Malefic Demon Edge by 1. Therefore, as long as you have someone dead on your team, including summon units, then your Malefic Demon Edge, instead of cooldown of 4, it'll be 3 turns. Physical damage, ignores guard and deal 1.4 times damage, critical hit rate plus 30%. If this attack kills the enemy, gain 1 stack of Bloodthirsty. With his talent, so his critical hit rate can be up to 55%. And the range is 1 here, but with his talent, it's going to be 2 or 3 range. Recommended weapon, Crystal Stinger is the first one I recommend because of crit rate and crit damage plus 10%, especially if you get your accessory to crit rate over 10% and then you use your mastery stone, whatever, plus crit. He can crit 100%, his talent at 3C. Unstoppable Knight is also very strong on him because he is an infantry with ignore guard skills, which means Twilight is not really necessary. This sword also matches his Shadow Stealth skill, the passive skill, where you need 100% HP to be non-targetable, and when you're at 100% HP, this sword will give you extra 5% attack, defense, and magic defense. If you don't have any of the swords above, you can use pretty much anything that gives you attack. I would recommend Seal Guardian, very common and also gives you a 5% defense. Recommended armor, Forbidden Defender, I will recommend that first because it gives you both defense and magic defense, and you can reduce damage taken by 20% in range and melee attacks. Carbon Fiber is when you have less HP, you deal a little bit more attack and skill, which he needs both. Arcane Battle Garb is to secure a kill after your attack. Recommended helmet, Fury of Tyr. As I mentioned earlier, he usually requires 1 turn to warm up to get his passive and attack ready, which matches the Fury of Tyr's special effect, or bonus effect I should say. At the end of the turn, if unit did not perform an attack, you gain 10% skill damage and 10% counter damage for 1 turn, so it's perfect. It's just perfect for this character. If you don't want to put Fury of Tyr on this character, maybe you just don't have enough, then Carbon Fiber Helmet will work. Same reason as the armor. And last but not least, we have Aenis Helmet, which is the same reason as Seal Guardian. It's just more common and it gives double stats. Recommend accessories, Apex Boots, just to add extra mobility. With his talent, it can be plus 3 with Apex Boots. Okay, usually I think Lone Star is pretty bad, but the effect actually syncs very well with his Shadow Stealth. Therefore, this accessory actually gives him the maximum attack percent. If you don't have or don't want to use any of the above, any attack accessory will work as long as it's plus attack plus 8%. Even Old Warlord badge will work. Enchant choices. Okay, here I did not recommend Meteor or Blazing Sun. I think you don't need extra crit rate, but for crit damage, sure you can use Meteor. But I felt like his bigger weakness is lack of mobility. Mobility is very decent already, but I think with Breeze proc, it's gonna change the game. Like, he deals a lot of damage already, and most of his skills are Ignore Guard, Full Moon for maximum damage. Most of the time you want him to be at 100% HP, so maintaining above 80% wouldn't be too hard, and it's kind of like a requirement to make him useful. Okay, enchant stats for Gear and Mastery Stone and Arena Stone. So weapon, you want to do attack over anything and then HP over anything. And then you can choose defend or magic defense on preference, but for accessory, please choose critical as one of your main stats. Next, for mastery stone stats here, pretty straightforward. Only weapon and accessory is pretty much worth to get the skill stone because it gives you more than 5. And then armor and helmet just doesn't give you enough skill stats, and it's really not worth it. And then last but not least, arena PvP stone, attack, HP, defense, crit rate, and crit damage. Soldier choices, Cyborg Vessel. When attacking, can engage in range attacks with the hero. All soldier deal plus 30% damage, so this is perfect with his talent. And then next, well, depending on the matchup, you can use Gargoyle. Gives you a lot of HP and it's pretty tanky. And last but not least, I will recommend Heavy Infantry, but this is a little bit more for PvE, but Heavy Infantry is always one of the better soldiers, like all-rounded soldiers. Overall, I think this character is pretty decent for PvE. PvE, I think he's just not there. He's just not very good. Because although ignore guard skills, it's just not very useful when it comes to PvE. But in PvP, very good. He hits really hard. However, he is very uncommon. Mainly, I think it's because of the current meta. Current meta, people tend to not use tank now. Rush box is really common, therefore short leg heroes is in a disadvantage. The current meta heroes, like the stronger heroes, are the ones that can act again. They have a skill that can help them move a little bit further. The characters that can die like 50 times, or the characters that can attack from like 20 miles away. Unfortunately, he is kind of in the between. He's kind of like mediocre in all of those, which is why I think he's not very common. And also, Meteor faction is just not very strong at the moment in Apex. Alright guys, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a better understanding of how to use and build this character. If you haven't already, don't forget to share and like and subscribe to my channel. See you guys in the next video. Bye bye.